Hello, lovelies, and welcome to Vegan Bloomers. Thank you again for joining me, and welcome if this is your first time. I am Luna, the founder of Vegan Bloomers, and we are here to connect, inspire, and learn. So, our star vegan today, as I'm sure you're all dying to know, is Melanie. So, welcome, Melanie. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So let's dive straight in. Everyone, I'm sure, is dying to know where you're based, how old are you, and just tell us a little bit about yourself, like what do you like to do, your job, that kind of stuff.
Sure. Okay. So this is June, by the way. June is
Yeah.
saying hello. So yeah, I am based in Washington State in the United States. So I live in a really beautiful area, um, mountains and ocean and forests.
Oh,
And I'm 48 years old, and I've been vegan for 11 and a half years. And what I do for work is I work from home. I'm an addiction counselor, and so I do assessments over the phone to help people get into treatment
oh, that's
for
amazing.
addiction. And then, yeah, and then my husband and I run a nonprofit rooster sanctuary. So
Oh,
I'm about 9 years in, yeah, of
that sounds
rescuing
amazing.
roosters.
How many
And
roosters do you
dogs and
have?
cats. We have 23 roosters right now and 8 hens.
Oh, that's so lovely. Oh, that's exciting. I
Yeah.
had no idea. How fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you have been vegan for 11 years. Tell
hmm
us your journey. How did you get there? What was the inspiration for you to get you to this place?
Yes. Well, I mean, always loved animals, just like I'm sure all, vegans love animals. And I'd always thought of it I've always thought what it would be like to be a vegetarian or a vegan. I never was a vegetarian. I went vegan overnight.
Well,
I just had watched some. I actually watched the documentary Earthlings first,
oh geez, you're
which
brave.
was very, very hard to watch.
Yeah.
And I didn't look away. I just watched the whole thing, and I still didn't go vegan for a few more months
Oh wow.
because I didn't know how to do it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
so
how did
we're
you
actually
sorry, how did you come like to
no,
find Earthlings? Did somebody tell you about it or did it just pop up or
I actually don't remember. I
Oh,
don't remember
okay.
if someone had told me. I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna watch this. And I knew it was gonna be really hard to watch, and so I prepared myself, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was really, really hard. But what happened is so there's a grassroots. Oh, I remember now. I remember now. Um, So we're originally from Minnesota, and in Minnesota, I saw this invite on Facebook to go to a protest for a circus,
Okay.
and I was like, "Whoa, that's cool! I can go like protest, for animals." And I'd never been to a protest before, so I went and I met a bunch of vegans, and they mentioned Earthlings. I watched that, and then a few months later, I went to there's a grassroots organization called um, Animal Rights Coalition in Minnesota, and they hold this a few times a year, but they have a gathering that's called Help, I'm Going Vegan. And I went to that and they're like, it's so easy, and they just taught me all these things and I went vegan overnight.
Oh, so it's actually like a vegan like company essentially then, or like an
Yeah,
organization.
it's a,
That
a
sounds so cool.
nonprofit. hmm
So it's like a
Yeah.
festival thing that they do.
They do they do a lot of stuff all throughout the whole entire year. So they do so much for animals. Like a lot of protesting, a lot of campaigns to, actually with the government to try to get them to stop doing things like using animals in circuses. And so and then they like with another organization in Minnesota, they do a Veg Fest, which the Twin Cities Veg Fest in Minnesota brings in 10,000 people every year in one day. It's amazing.
Wow, that's insane. It's quite a massive
Hmm.
festival then.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, like they just bought it
It's
like
huge.
here. It wasn't like
Hmm.
anywhere near like that. But yeah, that's
Hmm.
crazy. So
Yeah.
tell us about the
Yeah,
like
it's a
I'm
big one.
intrigued. Like I've never heard of anyone going to a circus protest. So tell me more.
About the circus protest
Yeah,
or the what?
the circus
Yeah, the
protest, yeah.
circus protest. Yeah, that was it was empowering, especially for my first time to go and stand up for animals. It I mean circuses are so they're so bad. They're so bad. And it was interesting because the people who are going into the circus, they just want to say mean things to us because they just want to justify why they're going.
Yeah,
But it was really empowering. It was good, and I protested for a few years after that every year. So it was good to just keep doing that.
that's awesome. So is it still a thing, like quite a big thing in America
Hmm.
then? Yeah, because like where I am in the UK, like I've actually,
Circuses.
yeah, like animal circuses, like that's not a thing here that I know of.
Ah, that's amazing. I know that there has been, oh, I guess I don't know off the top of my head, but they still do the one that I protested in Minnesota. They still do it.
Oh, that's
But this group goes every year and they're just trying so hard to just have animal free circuses. But
Do you
yeah,
think
it is a thing.
do you think that these protests, like from your own experience and maybe from what other people have said themselves, do you think it makes a big impact on people when you're there, or is it mostly just you get a lot of like angst?
There's a lot of angst at circuses for sure. It's hard to say if it really helps. I will say that one year that we protested, I saw a friend of mine go in. I didn't, I just saw her. I didn't know she was going. It was a coworker.
Okay.
And so I said hi to her. I was really nice. I said hi and gave her a hug and stuff. And then she went. And then afterwards, she messaged me and said, "We left early because the tiger was vomiting and they kept making him perform." So she said, "I will
Wow.
never go again." So I don't know if we might have made a difference just in
Yeah, for sure. Just
her,
like existing to make her
possibly.
mind open a little bit more, I suppose. That's really
Hmm.
awesome, though. Like, I'm glad it's really nice to see when people see themselves and they make the connection that this is fucked and I don't want any part of it. So that's really awesome to hear that.
Yeah, yeah,
So when you watched Earthlings, did you watch it by yourself?
I did.
Okay, and how did you
I
manage
did. It was
what how did you manage like the emotions and the trauma that you just experienced when watching that?
I let my emotions come out. I let myself feel the way I felt and yeah, just a lot of tears and disbelief. I mean, we all know that, animals, we all know, but until you actually see it, it just makes it that much more real.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and yeah, I watched it myself and I knew it was going to be difficult. And then, actually fast forward several years, I was at the animal rights conference that is here every year in the United States. Dominion came out and we watched the premiere of that. So I was in a room with 1,500 people
Oh, wow.
watching Dominion,
Oh
which
my
was
God.
powerful to be with a bunch of people who
Yeah.
felt the same. It
Yeah.
was it was intense.
I can
Yeah.
imagine. That's crazy to me, like that many people in a
Hmm.
room watching something like that. Because they're intent. Like I've seen Dominion. I haven't seen Earthlings, but like I watched Dominion like by myself. I watched about half of it. It took me all day. And then the rest of it I watched with my mum. And it definitely made her think. But it hasn't didn't unfortunately work for my mum yet, I like to say. But yeah, it was that's quite the sight thinking about how that must have been. as an experience, just being in the middle of that with so many people. Like for those that have not seen Dominion or Earthlings,
Yeah.
it shows footage of what really goes on as standard practice in the animal industry, and it's savage. Like anyone with a heart, yeah, it's a lot to do, quite a lot of damage mentally. But also like it's a big eye opener because although we know, like generally speaking, what happens in the animal industry, like we don't really know until you see what actually goes on. Like there's a reason that it's kind of all behind closed doors, and there's a lot of, you know, negative feedback people get from going into them and exposing them. Like there's a reason for that. So yeah, if you're brave, Um, I do recommend watching it just so that you are more educated and like you actually can see yourself the truth and then you can base your own decisions from what you see. But yeah, so like moving forward on your journey then, how long you said it took another few weeks before you actually then took the plunge to go into veganism. So what was your like your process? Like how
Yeah.
was you feeling and what was it that actually made you suddenly be like, no, I can't do this anymore?
Yeah, so yeah, it was a few months after I watched that and it takes some planning because when you have a refrigerator and kitchen full of stuff that you've been eating all your life, it's to do it overnight, it's a big deal. So I also watched Gary Yourofsky's Best Speech Ever long time ago. It's a YouTube speech that was also very helpful. And it was a matter of looking up recipes, looking up things, learning how to read labels. And I said, we just need to go to the grocery store and get a bunch of stuff and start. And I even like we donated some of the food that we had left over to the neighbors because I didn't want to eat anything else. I didn't want to even
Yeah,
eat one more. I said, after today, there's not one more animal product I can put in my body. I can't do it.
yeah. So when you decided you're going vegan,
Yeah.
like I'm assuming you've got a
Hmm.
your partner at the time. Like, how did they respond to you
Yes.
when you were like, no, I'm not doing this anymore?
Yeah. So this was my ex-husband and he's like, I'll go vegan too. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
I never was like, you have to go vegan too. Yeah. And he was like, I'll do it too. And so he was fine with it and he was vegan with me for let's see, so 2014 until we split up in 2018, at the end of 2018. He started the sanctuary with me and everything. And after we had divorced, he he went right back to eating animals.
Oh, that's really sad.
Hmm. Yeah, so he was never really a true vegan.
No,
And
no.
his family would
I'm
always
glad you
say,
said
"Oh,
that.
you forced him to go vegan." Yeah, never. He was never vegan, obviously.
Yeah,
So it was
for sure.
yeah, sad, but yeah. Are
Yeah,
you
that is
trying to eat
sad.
my
So
earring? Okay.
does he still have like is he still active in the role of at at the Rooster Sanctuary that you have?
No.
No, he came completely out
Um,
of it.
when he left, yeah, I took it over myself, and then my current husband he joined right in and has been an amazing co-operator of my sanctuary.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice. So are you
Mhm.
currently with another person?
Yes, so we've been married almost 4 years. We've been together for 6 years. And when I met him, he wasn't vegan. And when I was like dating and stuff, I was like, anyone who I was gonna go to dinner with or anything, I said, if we go to dinner, you can't, like, I can't be around, dead animals at a restaurant at the same table.
Yeah.
And so I always would preface it with that. And And so when I met Jay, my husband, he's like, okay, that's totally fine. And then he was like, oh my gosh, I love animals too, and I've always loved animals, and he went vegan overnight too.
That's awesome.
So it was really amazing. And he's a true 100% total vegan, you
Yeah,
know?
awesome. That's really cool to hear. So,
Hmm.
I think you might be the first
Yes.
person I've interviewed that is a fellow I won't be around me at the table. So I'm just intrigued to hear
Ah,
about your experience in that because obviously there's a lot of people I think that want to, but like are reluctant because of they might be afraid or of how it's going to be received. So like when you decided you weren't doing that anymore, like what was the reactions you got from people in general?
yes. So, for Thanksgiving in the United States, it's all focused on turkey and, all the things. And um, my last Thanksgiving that I was, at families, we were traveling, we were out of state, and so we were in the situation where we couldn't exactly like remove ourselves completely from the situation, but my ex-husband and I, we did sit at a different table in the house, and ate our own vegan food. But I found that this was probably like 8 or 9 years ago. Um, Knowing that that bird was in the oven and smelling it and being in
Mhm.
that house, I said, I will never again, ever, as a vegan, be in a house with a bird in the oven, ever. So that's been really nice to keep myself safe from that situation. And so people have been really amazing. Let's see, I give my dad some passes. Um, he eats a lot of vegan food with us, but when we're at restaurants, I request, and I know this is really super speciesist, but I'm like, can you just not order chicken or turkey because like we literally care for them at our sanctuary, and he's wonderful with that, and so is my mom. Well, my mom was vegetarian. Apparently she literally just gave up vegetarianism,
Right.
but yeah, yeah. So everybody has been really super accommodating and completely respectful. When we go out to restaurants with, non-vegan friends, they're really, it's been amazing that because the way we say it is it's too traumatic for us to sit at a table like that and we won't enjoy ourselves. And
Yeah,
so we just and we pick restaurants that have, lots of options and it's really awesome and, so it's gone very well.
that's good. So would you say that you go out quite a lot to restaurants? Is that something you like to do?
We like to, but we don't very much because we live pretty remote. And so if
Okay.
we wanted to go to a restaurant that has vegan food, it's at least 45 minutes away. um, which is fine, but I mean, it's so expensive to eat out too. So we don't go out a ton.
Yeah, like special occasions and stuff like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome. So when you like going back a little bit, when you first told like your family, your friends, your loved ones, like I'm vegan now, how did they respond?
As far as I remember, I think it was fine. I mean, I will say that I feel like my ex-husband's family was they'd kind of throw it in our face sometimes, like, this is really good, and they'll just eat something in front of us and
Oh,
like, kind of like
yuck.
rub it in our face, and then we're like, okay, it's yeah. So, um, I feel like everyone. I mean, we would accommodate ourselves. So if we went places, we'd like bring stuff, of course. We wouldn't expect anyone to make anything special. And then as time went on and people learned more about like what veganism is, they would like make stuff and be like, "Oh, I'll make this," and then they realized that vegan food is amazing.
Nice. So as we're on the subject of
Hmm.
plant-based food, tell us what is your favorite dish?
Oh my gosh. There's
or
so
a few,
many.
or a
There's so
few.
many. Yeah, a few. I mean, I love all the comfort foods. I love pizza and tacos and cheeseburgers. I love all that stuff, and I eat all of it totally vegan. It's amazing.
Nice.
Um, yeah, and I love, Asian food. Love tofu.
Is there something like when during your
Yeah.
transition period, was there any kinds of food that you like struggle to give up?
Um, No, I know that the most common thing is cheese, and 11 years ago, it was like the only one was Daya, Daya,
Yeah, yeah,
which is the one, it was like the main one, which it wasn't that good back then. But I didn't care. I'm like, I'm just gonna get used to it, and I did, and I ended up liking it. And now, 11 years later, there's so many cheeses now. It's like there's just no reason to ever eat dairy cheese.
yeah.
So I didn't have a hard time giving up anything because I was so committed. I'm like, I just don't need to put it in my body. And the one thing that I would say that I miss the most that is hard to rate whether you can buy it is hard-boiled eggs.
Right, yeah. I feel that. We
Hmm.
have I don't know how worldwide this is, but a thing called deviled eggs. Have you heard of that? Is that a thing in America?
Hmm.
So those are like
Yes, very
one of my
much. Yep.
favorite, and I have to say I miss them a lot as well. So I feel you on that one.
Yes. I miss them. And they do have vegan deviled eggs. Or no, they're not deviled eggs. They're just hard-boiled eggs. They're
Yeah,
vegan.
I've seen
I
them,
don't know if
but
you guys have them over there.
fancy restaurants. Like I've
Hmm.
seen pictures of them, but like I've never actually come across one yet. But one day, and I've seen there's
Yes.
recipes. I found a
Yeah.
recipe once that had like you can make the egg yolk, so you could have your dippy soldiers like in it. But I haven't yet to try it. I haven't actually got around to making it yet, but that's the thing as well. I like to think that it tastes similar, but one day I'll find out.
Hmm. Yes. Yes.
So you have your doggy with you. Do you have other house animals?
Yes. We have three dogs and five cats.
No.
House. So June, the white dog that you just saw, we just adopted her earlier this year, and some she's like only 2-ish years old, and she's already had like two litters of puppies. Whoever was breeding her, and then they were just done with her, I guess, and so we took her in um just this year.
Nice. Very sweet.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
going back to your rooster sanctuary, like how did that come about? Like tell us the story behind your rooster sanctuary because I feel like there'd be a good one.
Yes, I would love to because I love sharing about, yeah, the whole thing. So soon after I went vegan, I said, I have got to meet some animals. I want to meet rescued animals now. And at the time in Minnesota, there was one sanctuary, and it's called Chicken Run Rescue. And I'm like, okay, I want to go visit this sanctuary. And so I did, and I just fell in love with this rooster. I had never met a rooster before, and kind of typical, like, oh, well, I bet roosters are, I mean, I didn't, how people connect more with mammals than birds. And so I
Yeah,
was like, okay, I'll just see. And I fell in love with him. And then I learned so much more about how roosters need homes so bad, and they're just treated so bad. And so I said, I'm going to start a sanctuary one day. And I don't know, a couple years later, my ex-husband and I bought a farmhouse, and it had a huge barn. And um, I rescued my first three roosters. And then it took off from there. And I've been doing this for 9 years. We have retired though from taking new birds because I mean they live, 10, 12, 14 years, some of them.
yeah,
So you got to cut off sometime or
yeah, of
you'll never
course.
retire.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely. I imagine
Hmm.
the upkeep is like quite a lot. Birds are messy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can imagine it
Hmm.
takes its toll. So where did your
It does.
first three roosters come from? What were their stories?
Yeah, so so I don't know if they have this in the UK, but here they have in some schools, they'll do hatching projects where, they'll have in a classroom, they'll incubate eggs and have them hatch, and the kids get to watch the whole process.
Yeah,
And then it's like, well, where do they go after that? They're
yeah,
just these animals. So they went to a farmer and then they went to some woman's house in like a residential area. And so when they got older and they started crowing, she's like, "Oh my God, I can't have these in my area." And so I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna take my first three," and that's where it started.
Oh, nice. It's a weird thought, actually. Like, we do unfortunately have that in this country. Like, I've never witnessed it myself, but I've definitely heard a lot of stories. But it's kind of a weird thought to think about the chicks being hatched. And this is bizarre to me, actually thinking about it. But like, you don't imagine roosters coming out of the eggs. Like, you just imagine the little yellow little chicks, and then they grow into hens. Like, so it's quite a little realization I just had there thinking about that because I'm like, yeah, of course they're gonna be chicks too. Like, so that was a funny
Yes.
little thought I
Yeah,
just
I
had.
mean half of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, but that's such a beautiful thing that you're doing. Do you have any kids?
Thank you. No human kids. We never wanted kids. I've never wanted kids at all. I think my ex-husband maybe wanted kids, possibly, but my current husband, yeah, where it's perfect because we don't have kids and we never wanted kids.
They're just fur babies and feather babies for you.
Ex Exactly.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so beautiful. Do you have
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
volunteers at your sanctuary? Or is it
We had a lot of volunteers in Minnesota. People that lived kind of close that would come regularly. We moved to Washington 3 years ago, and we haven't really had. We kind of wanted to move here and kind of stay quieter. We didn't want anyone to. One thing, we don't ever want people to dump roosters at our house
yeah, no, it's
because
fair.
that could happen. Um, yeah, so we don't have volunteers right now, and as our roosters pass away over time, it is less work for us, and so we feel like we can maintain until we do retire. So
Yeah,
we do everything ourselves. We do have amazing we have amazing one main sitter who comes. Travel is very important for us. Like we don't give up our whole lives to do this. It's important to get away and have fun and do things. You got to live your life.
yeah, for
So we
sure.
have an amazing sitter that comes and stays. And so we have people that help out when we leave town.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear. Like because
Hmm.
you know, like there's this whole thought of like when you have animals, especially when you've got many of the animals, you're like, oh well, I'm kind of stuck now. Like I can't go and live my life and do what I want to do. So it's quite refreshing to hear that you're still doing that. So yeah, hats off to you. I'm intrigued. Like
Thank
where,
you. It's important, and
yeah, I'm
it's important because I know,
all
sorry,
right, carry on. It's the
probably my
lag.
internet is being wet.
Bandwidth's not
Yeah,
great,
the
so
lag.
continue.
S- So I know, so what happens is people, for one, we always said, I'm never going to have more than like 20 birds at a time because I work full time and I would never be like, take on too much that I can handle. I think that's important. And then you get into hoarding situations and then, it's just a disaster. So the most birds we've ever had is actually double that. We've had about 39 before,
Oh wow.
um, which it happened. But, having 30 right now, 31 right now is fine. So it's really important to realize what you can handle. And there's sanctuaries out there, and I'm not judging, but I'm saying it's unfortunate that they feel like they can't leave. There's sanctuaries where people haven't gone away for years. They haven't left their house for years for any kind of self-care or like stuff. And so I don't think that's even good for the animals because if you're burnt out and you aren't
Yeah,
getting
you
those
can't give your
breaks, I
best.
just don't know how it's not sustainable. So I try to model that a bit and just say like I mean if people want to throw their whole entire lives into it like that's fine too but make sure that like how are you taking care of yourself.
Yeah,
um I think it's really really important, and it's also I think there's kind of some ego involved where people will say well no one can take care of my animals as good as I can. But we also have to look at well it's just a matter of training people,
yeah.
and making sure that they're in good hands.
Yeah, it's about trust, isn't it? Trust is important. And I think a lot of people struggle with that too. Like that's probably like that's where my mind goes when I think about people that are like, I don't want to leave them behind. Like my mum's definitely like that. Like my mum's always had a lot of animals, which is probably where, my a lot of my connections come from. But like she's always been, and the older she gets as well, the worse it gets. She's very much like, no, I need to be with my animals. I need to go home now. Like she'll have a life, a bit of one, not much, but she's very much like, I need to get home now to look after the animals because it's all she's ever known.
Hmm.
And yeah, she doesn't, I don't think, trust people very easily.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that's important. Like I'm glad that you've like said that, like especially for anybody, if anyone's watching and they're like, oh yeah, I'd love to have a sanctuary. Like I've got a little bit of that in my head. Like because my mum always rescued animals when I was growing up. And I've always had this like, yeah, I'd love to be able to do that, but in reality, I don't think it would be for me. But like I love the idea of it and like I have so much admiration for anybody that does actually do it because those animals they deserve love and freedom and so many of them unfortunately don't get them. So yeah, I really thank you and your partner for doing that. Like it means a lot.
Yes, absolutely. And I would always recommend if someone wants to start a sanctuary, go volunteer at one first to really know what it entails.
Yeah. No, that's a smart. That makes
Hmm.
sense. That's smart. That was my
Hmm.
question, so you read my mind. So I'm curious to hear,
Yeah.
like, because obviously you've had like, you've had a lot of birds, and a lot of people, as you mentioned, they just think of mammals and like building connections with mammals. So like, can you like share some like special moments that you've had with the birds and like their characteristic traits and stuff like that with us?
Yes. Well, the obvious biggest misconception about roosters is that they're mean and they're aggressive. And so people people don't understand that they're not mean or aggressive. They're protecting their territory and they're just protecting, they're protective and that's normal. What I have really learned is that at any given time, let's say we have 20 birds at one time, there may be like one or two that don't really like me, and I'm okay with that. Like, you don't like me, that's fine. You don't have to like me. And
Yeah.
they get a little bitey and they might kick me, and I'm like, that's okay. So what's special is having a relationship with, 18 other ones that are really cuddly and you just can hold them and pet them, and they do this little beak thing when they're content and they kind of go like this with their beak and you know that they're content. It's really special to think of an animal that so many people hate and think that are so mean that they're just like little puppy dogs or like little cats. So they're very similar to mammals. They're cuddly. And the turkeys, we don't have turkeys anywhere. We just had two. They both passed away this year and my
Mhm.
gosh, they just want hugs and stuff. So birds
Aw.
are incredible, and there's so much stigma around them. And the other part of it, the moments that I've had with them is I mean, I've had several of them pass away in my arms. And
Oh,
so they felt, I don't know. I mean, I guess I would assume they felt, I guess, okay, like taking their last breath in my arms. I don't know. It's,
safe.
it's a spiritual thing, really.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that must have been so difficult, like those moments, but also beautiful at the same time.
Very peaceful, and knowing that they would have died so awful, but before he rescued them, it's very special to know that they could just die peacefully
Yeah. So,
with
like,
love.
you rescued the first three from schools. What are some of the other stories? Like, where have the other ones come from?
Yeah, so we definitely have rescued ones from cockfighting. Um, so do you guys have cockfighting over there? I don't even know.
I don't think we do. No.
Okay. Yeah, so cockfighting where they fight them. We've had ones from slaughterhouses. So there's like, kind of like a wet market slaughterhouse in Minnesota, and people were protesting there, and one was just running loose, and so they just grabbed him. So he got really lucky and escaped.
Oh, good.
Um, We have rescued from a in Brooklyn, New York, every year in the fall, there's a mass slaughter of 6-week-old chickens
Mm.
for a religious ritual for the Hasidic ultra-Orthodox Jewish population there.
Oh,
And so there's activists that go in and rescue as many as they can. So
amazing.
we've rescued those. Yeah, it's crazy
That takes
because,
some balls.
and it's, super important to not be like anti-Semitic. Um, it's not said anywhere in the Torah or any kind of Jewish tradition that you have to use chickens for this ritual. And so there's been campaigns for years trying to get them to not use chickens and
Yeah.
not, but it just keeps going. So we've rescued from there. And then we do have some surrenders from, people who bought chicks and then said, oh, they said they were all females, and then they started crowing and we can't have them. So we've taken them. We've learned really quickly that that is not good because we're just solving their problem for them.
Yeah.
So we didn't do that many times. Yeah. But then there was several that would just be running around on the street because they were probably dumped. Um, and so people would, grab them and we would take them in. And then there was one incident where in Minnesota, it gets really cold there, and somebody had gotten evicted from their house, and they left with their hens and left the roosters. And so
Oh,
there were four roosters in the barn in 5-degree weather, so they got frostbite and
oh my
everything.
gosh, poor babies.
Yeah. Yeah, so I went right there and I got them and took them. Um, and then let's see. There was a hen. This is a magical story. A hen who was in Montana, who had gotten frostbite, like half of her legs were black and dead from frostbite.
Wow.
And so we drove 10 hours to get her and came all the way back. And we knew her leg, half of her legs were going to fall off. And they did. And we wrap her little stumps and she runs around just fine without
Oh,
feet or half of her legs. Hmm.
oh, that's so sweet. How lovely.
Hmm.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
so lucky to have you. That's so heartwarming to hear.
Yeah.
Like people, you essentially drove for 20 hours just to go and rescue a little hen, like a defenseless little sweet little thing. Like that's so lovely to hear. Oh, it really warms
Thank
my
you.
heart.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
So obviously, I would definitely say that your sanctuary is a form of activism, like a with a twist. Um, and you mentioned you did the protest, the circus protest. Is there any other kinds of activism that you've been involved in?
Yeah, so over the years before I did start the sanctuary in 2016, so for a couple years, well, I guess I did protest for a while also after I started the sanctuary, but I realized like I don't have time to do all this, so I tapered off. But yeah, I would go to protests for animal testing at a college in Minnesota. I would protest a store that sold fur. Um, we would protest like at that wet market, the circus. So doing a lot of just like visual things like, hey, we're here just to share, that this isn't good and we'll give you more information and help. Um, I also just do, I still do, just sharing things on Instagram and Facebook about, veganism and um, just how easy it is and how happy I am being a vegan. So just sharing. And then like annual Veg Fest every year. So we table at our Veg Fest out here too, and just educate people. So, people come to Veg Fest, not just all vegans. There's people who come who aren't vegan, and so we'll just educate people at our table about roosters and the male chicks and everything. Um, so a lot of education, and then trying to think if there's anything else. I've done some things also with like I flew down to Miami once, in Florida. I don't know if you know about Lolita, the killer whale, who was
No.
captured in the 70s, and then she was put into this tank, this tiny tank in Florida, like a SeaWorld type thing,
Yeah.
and she lived in that tank for 50 some years. So I went down to
Wow.
Miami just to do this march with everybody to protest that. Yeah, so I don't know, I've kind of been all over the place just advocating for all, because it's not just food, it's leather and um it's zoos and aquariums and fur and all of it.
Yeah, that's incredible. It sounds like you've been on some amazing adventures. Like
Yes, I have.
I'm quite amazed to hear that a killer whale would even live that long in a tank. That's kind of blown my mind a bit. That's a long, long time.
It was a long time, and she was so special. She died, I think it's almost been 2 years now that she passed away in the tank, and it was really sad because they were for years they had been trying to advocate for her to go back into the ocean in a sea
Yeah.
pen and just get her back to where her family still swims out here. But unfortunately, she never got to be released.
Reunite.
So, yeah.
Well, that's so sad, so heartbreaking. Poor baby. Well, at least she's free
Hmm.
now
Hmm.
in the animal kingdom.
She is free now.
Outside of
Absolutely.
the earth plane.
Hmm.
Oh, that's amazing. Like, thank you again for everything you've done. Like, that's just incredible that you've only been vegan 11 years, and it really sounds like you've made such a massive impact on so many animals' lives. So yeah, thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done. It's incredible.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's nice to talk about it because sometimes I don't think we give ourselves enough credit. I've just been like going, 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 and it's like to just like really look at, okay, wow, you've done a lot of things, and
Yeah.
it's good because I'm so passionate about it.
Well, it's your norm, isn't it? So, and the more natural something
Hmm.
becomes for us, the more, we do forget because it's just like, well, this is just me, it's just my life. And it is easy to forget like how much an impact we have on others, animals and humans
Hmm.
alike. So yeah, I'm glad I could remind you of that.
Hmm.
Because it sounds like
Thank you.
you as a person, you sound like you do so much. Like I feel the love from you, like from across the world.
Thank you.
And yeah,
Thank you so much.
it's really special to know that there's people like that, like in the world like you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, how would you say for you that veganism has impacted your life?
So, um, it has really empowered me because it's one thing that no one can take away from me. It's one thing that I can control, and I can make decisions every single day to not consume or wear or contribute to anything for animal harm. And so it's empowering, and I feel like, I'm just I'm aligned with my morals. I'm aligned with my spirituality. It's a spiritual thing too for me. And yeah, it has made me feel empowered. At the same time, it can be a curse because we know all these things and it's hard. And once you open your eyes to it, you see it all the time. But you get to do something about it every single day.
I
So
love that.
it's 100% worth it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, that's a really
Hmm.
nice way to look at that. I love that. That's a good little quote there. Amazing.
Hmm.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your
Yeah.
journey. Like I've really enjoyed listening to your story. It's been amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad that we got to connect, and thank you for what you're doing and sharing people's stories and putting it out there so people can,
Oh, you're welcome.
learn more about how to live this life. Yeah, it's wonderful. So thank you.
That's okay. Thank you. So final question
Mhm.
before I love and leave you.
Mhm.
Um, for those people that are watching that, haven't quite made the jump yet, but they're curious, what is one piece of advice that you would give them to help them along their journey?
Mhm. Um, I would say that every vegan that I've met says, I wish I went vegan sooner. And so I would just say that it takes a little bit of planning, but once you start, it's so easy. And there's so many resources out there now, that it's so helpful. So I, I would just say just do it because you're going to lose nothing except the thought of the misery that the animals are going through. That's what you lose. Like you gain so much and you gain um, the empowerment of not contributing to it. And it's really like I have goosebumps now because it's just do it. Just do it. It's easy and
Oh no. Oh, you are still there. It's okay. You can continue speaking. I can still hear
okay.
you. Yay, she's
Okay.
back.
Yeah, that's sorry. Sorry.
Apologies for technical
Yeah, it
difficulties.
really just it's my thing would be to just do it because yeah, just do it. It's amazing and there's so much out there to do it.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. Just do it. Love it. So for those, if there is anybody watching that may have some questions for you or just may want to just get to know you a bit more, how can people reach out to you?
Yeah, so our sanctuary does have a website. It's www.roosterredemption.org. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as Rooster Redemption. And also I'm on social media, Melanie Moonstone. So feel free to reach out either through the website or through social media.
Awesome. I will add that to the info that goes down below. So yeah, I just want to give you another big
Awesome.
heartfelt thank you for coming on and chatting with me. Like I've really enjoyed myself, and it's been really lovely to meet you virtually and get to know you.
I have too. Thanks, Luna. I really appreciate it. Thanks for everything, and it's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. And a big thank you to all of our viewers for tuning in and sharing this experience with us. I will see you all soon. I'm gonna, I think, take a little mini break over the Christmas period, but I will be back. So don't worry. I'm not gonna disappear again for another 3 years. But yeah, thank you again, everyone, for watching. And I have been Luna. This has been Melanie, and sending you so much love and hugs.